want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
Hey.
Hey, I am Kirk M. Samuels.
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you right here on your home for healthy masculinity.
That's right.
So
that's right. I just made a really weird face in the camera.
Yeah, and it's stuck.
Yeah, it did. Folks, y'all should check us out, Facebook and YouTube and all that kind of stuff.
You see what we look like. You definitely want to check us out, and then we're gonna start a GoFundMe because Kirk needs a new laptop because his keeps freezing while he's making faces.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
What are you talking about?
I mean, I'll take a GoFundMe. I'm okay with that.
Help this man get a new laptop. His is like 18,000 years old.
For real. I had a big old Subway sandwich.
What did you have?
Foot long. I had a tuna with Swiss.
See, I don't trust the tuna at Subway. It be sitting out too long. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
I don't be trusting it.
Man, I grew up in a hood, man.
Scrape it off the ground.
Man, in my life, the stuff I put in my body, man, ain't no half-day-old tuna gonna do nothing to me, man.
Yeah, I saw some meme about some doctors, like, if you drank Boone's Farm in the 90s, you're immune to COVID.
Yeah. You're immune to a whole lot of everything. For real. That was like some universal immunization they put out there.
That definitely killed all the bacteria.
For real, man. But yeah, I got this big old gut in big old lump in my gut.
Big old gut?
Well, I got a big gut.
Freudian slip right there.
I got a big old lump in my gut, man. And I'm just trying to.
Jared was lying. Subway will give you gut bombs, man.
Well, you do. And I had everything. I put all that, man. I put lettuce, tomato, onion, man. I put all that. I basically give me all the free stuff. Give me all the free stuff you can put on there. I don't like olives though, man.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not an olive fan.
You like either one, black or green?
I don't like any olives.
I don't like any olives.
They taste like little vinegar bombs.
I don't like stuff that pop when you eat it. That explodes in your mouth. Did I ever tell you that story?
Dude, there's this story.
There's a reason why we gonna get to a radio show, by the way, at some point. But there's a reason why I don't eat berries. I got a berry phobia. Really? Yeah. I mean, I eat strawberries, but that's about it. But I can't eat anything that explodes in your mouth because when I was young,
was it a cockroach and not a grape?
Nah, man. I was eating blueberries, like out of a little container of blueberries, and then I was eating one of them, and it kind of crunched a little bit different, and I did look down, and it was a lightning bug.
Oh, see, yeah, you gotta pay attention.
Yeah, I spit it out. It was a lightning bug, man. And ever since then, I can't eat nothing that like explodes. Anything that explodes in your mouth, I can't do it.
See, I mean, you gotta be looking at what you're eating. Plus, lightning bugs, they're protein.
Yeah, whatever, man.
It's like you can go overseas and eat the fried crickets and all that stuff. You can check that out.
Yeah, we don't do that in the hood, man. We don't do that in the hood.
If you're hungry enough, you do it.
I guess. I don't know, but we don't.
You got that hungry yet?
We eat some government cheese and all that kind of government peanut butter and government milk and all that. But,
I used to get the government cheese, and that was some powerful stoppage.
Government
it would
cheese
stop you up,
man. It will, it'll block all of that. It'll block all of that, man. You be stacked up in there.
I think that's what they're trying to do. We're like, we don't want to feed them too much, so give some of this cheese, it'll just stop them up, and then they won't eat.
How you like this segue? Government cheese was powerful.
It was powerful. It was powerful stoppage.
Ooh,
powerful stoppage.
Speaking of powerful.
Yeah, so this was kind of your idea, but
well, don't be blaming it on me, man. You be trying to get me canceled, man.
I threw out some other ideas.
You just be trying to get me canceled, dude.
No, but I like this one. Because, and there's a reason if you are looking at us after the fact on YouTube, or if you're listening to us on the radio and you go check it out, I have powerful in quotation marks.
Yeah.
What men really think about quote unquote powerful women? And I think we can go several ways with this, but I think really we'll start off with, what do you mean by powerful?
Yeah.
And what type of powerful?
Yeah,
there are several types.
That's a great question, man. And so, we always say sometimes we speak 2 men, sometimes we speak 4 men. We're probably speaking 4 men today. So yeah, ladies, if you got a problem with it, then deal with it. This is 4 men. It is what it is. Cancel us.
We're talking to you 4 men because what we're noticing, and this is very common and ubiquitous nowadays in the modern feminist-centric culture where we've been for the last 20-30 years demonizing men and masculinity, and then this whole powerful alpha babe woman thing has been growing and growing. But what I am seeing is that there's a lot of ladies like, oh, men are suckers and they can't handle me because I'm a big, strong, independent woman. I don't need no man. But there's a difference between feminine powerful and masculine powerful. And I think the biggest issue that we're running into is that ladies wanting to be masculine powerful and not be in their femininity. And that's where the problem comes in, because you get two masculine individuals, two masculine polarities in the same household, they repel each other. And so when we hear powerful women, yeah, I want a powerful feminine woman, like the goddess, the grandmother. In a lot of families, it used to be a matriarchy where, the grandma was basically the head of the household and she ran things, but she didn't do it from this like pushy masculine framework. It was a goddess feminine framework. So which powerful are we talking about?
We are not red pill, what is considered.
I don't take no pills.
That term, that there's a term out there called red pilling, and there's a community of male content providers that are really on the, basically, if you want to call it, the extreme of putting down women. And in my opinion, it can really get close to women hate. And I think, some of it is for shock value, some of it is for entertainment, and a lot of it has in response to modern femininity, which now I am vehemently opposed to modern feminism. Feminism, because it is lack of femininity at its core. And, as much as we believe that men should be men, like, when you go to Chuck E. Cheese, it's a place where a kid can be a kid, right? And so, the world here, men should be able to be men, and we should not have to turn down the dimness on the dim switch on our masculinity, our healthy masculinity, for the sake of making modern feminism feel safe and comfortable and heard, right? And so in this case, but at the same time, there is room for pushback. There is room to say, okay, maybe this is going a little bit too far. Maybe some of what is considered normal is really not normal. And maybe we should kind of take a step back and realize that, that we're kind of upside down in a whole lot of areas. And as much as we push to have men get into their rightful place in terms of the strength that comes through their masculinity, we also firmly believe in women getting into their rightful place, in meaning into the natural strength and the giftings they have through their femininity. And when the two of those show up in the same place, it's like chocolate and peanut butter. I mean, sweet things happen, right? And so, that's kind of the reality of the whole thing. And so, and so the whole idea of a powerful woman is one of those things that has kind of gotten a little off in terms of what's normal in our culture.
Yeah, I mean, the whole like new age, whatever the new powerful woman that we're seeing is the boss babe, the I don't need no man, I'm independent thing. But like when we did the WTF ladies episode, there's a lot of manipulation going on, ladies, that's bringing you out of your femininity. It's telling you you're not good enough being a mom. That you got to focus on your career and put kids later, stuff like that. And what it's doing is leaving a lot of you ladies out on the lurch, basically, not with those things that are going to make you happy in the long run. And that's one of the things we've been noticing is a lot of that manipulation is getting you out of, and it happens to guys a lot too, getting us out of a depth of vision, getting us out of looking at what would be best for us down the road, or what is our goals, what is our purpose. It's what do I want right now, and what's the newest soundbite that makes me feel good, and let me cling on to that with my TikTok attention span, and not actually stop and think, well, what would actually be the best for me? What would actually be the best for us in the long run? And what we're seeing is what is being pushed, the modern feminist movement is pushing masculinity on ladies and pushing femininity on men. And so there's just a discombobulation and out of balanceness. It's just where we're both being pushed to these extremes that are not our natural beingness. Men need to be in their masculine. Now, granted, we always hear this, it goes both ways, and that both men and women have masculine and feminine traits. Yes, they do. However, men are majority masculine, or should be. Women are majority feminine, or should be. But when we have this imbalance of women are masculine and men are feminine, then we're both out of whack. And if you have a masculine man coming into a home with a masculinized woman, then there's just nothing but headbutting and vitriol and arguments and things like that. So there's no peace in the household. But what we're seeing is that the new powerful woman is not a feminine woman at all. For the most part, she's very masculine. And then she's wondering why she's tired all the time, wondering why she can't find a man. She's wondering why she can't find somebody long term because she's not in her natural feminine roles. And then when you demonize men in their masculine roles and then try to make them feminized, then they're not attractive to you ladies.
Right.
So, I mean, we're out of balance. And so one of our jobs as the Pied Pipers of the masculine influence and healthy masculinity, as it were, is to bring these topics up so we can talk about it.
We'd love to hear from you guys, by the way. Feel free to comment on this video. I will warn you, though, that so we share this on our personal social media, our personal Facebook, for example, live as we're doing this. We share this from the Mad Men and Masculinity page on Facebook, for example. If you comment on our personal page, we're not going to see it on the Mad Men and Masculinity. We're not going to see it live until way after the fact. So if you want to comment, which we would love for you to, go to the Mad Men and Masculinity page on Facebook
or YouTube.
YouTube's
even better.
While we're watching, while this is live, and comment, we'll see it real time, and JBK will put you on the screen and make you famous.
Now, if you're driving, wait till you get home.
Yeah, don't be a schmuck. Don't do that. That ain't cool. But we'd love to hear, if you agree or disagree. I mean, everybody's got their own opinions, and
what's your experience?
We'd love to hear yours, man. We'd love to hear yours. So yeah, want to throw that out there because last week a bunch of people were commenting on my Facebook page and asking like he ain't listening, he's not watching. I'm like, dude. Anyhow, whatever. One of the most and some of the most powerful women I've known, I was raised by. The matriarch of my family, I called her Mama, Emma Jane Washington. And she was the godmother. If there was a godfather, she was a godmother. She ran everything. I mean, and not in a bad way. I mean, she was there when anybody needed her, and and she let people know what they needed to know. And when the weekend came or when holidays came, it wasn't a question of whose house are we going over. It wasn't even a question of what time you go there. We just all knew the deal. And a lot of the women that came through my family as a result kind of picked up a lot of those traits. And so, but she didn't operate out of, like you said, out of dominance. She didn't operate out of, we heard plenty of times because I said so. But it wasn't, but that wasn't the way she operated. When you walked in, she had nurturing ready for you. When you walked in the door, she would, I had cousins out running the street and doing their own thing and, getting high and, selling dope and doing all this other kind of stuff. And when they walked in the house, Mama had a plate for them ready. Mama had something on the stove when you was ready. Mama had something for you to put in your belly, a soft place for you to rest. If you needed to get away from the craziness of the world, that's where you went to Mama's house. She didn't try to bully. She didn't have to tell anybody that she was a powerful woman. She didn't have to pound on her chest and demand respect and all this other kind of stuff. You talk about Mama, you getting smacked, period. Because that's the kind of respect she got, not because she commanded it, but because she earned it and deserved it because of the place that she held for everybody in our family.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we're talking about. The powerfulness that women are embodying nowadays is skewed from their natural feminine nature, skewed from the goddess essence, skewed from the things. And to your point, if you want a man to serve you, you want a man to be there for you, you want a man to be there for you for long term, that nurturing, that natural feminine nurturing is what men are looking for, and why so many men are running out. And like, well, we did a 33% episode. So 33% of men nowadays are just like, I'm not even getting in a relationship because it's not worth it. And because they're not finding any peace at home, they're finding a masculinized woman in their house, breaking their stuff or can we say huevos?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll say huevos.
Yeah.
Say the other thing, but speaking of breaking huevos.
Oh, we need to, I looked up at the clock. I was like, woo. Hey, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Mad Men and Masculinity.
What happened, man? What happened, clock watcher?
I was too involved. That's what it was. I was thinking.
That's all right. We can have a little over.
Thinking. We'll go short here on one of these next couple of breaks or something. But I'm telling you, man. I mean, dude. I mean, Mama was. Sheesh, I mean, She was the pillar.
She was it.
There wasn't a bunch of pillars. There was one pillar. And she was it. She was it. And our neighborhood ran on those pillars in those houses in those communities. Boom.
And we're back.
Yep.
Mad Men of Masculinity right here on KLDC and on the interwebs everywhere.
That's right. Holla at your boys. You can find us out there. We ain't hard to find. We kind of like Coach Brown. We ain't hard to find.
We're over here for you. We're doing this for you.
Especially all you powerful women. See, you need to understand that when society tells you you're powerful, you got to consider the source. And a lot of times these days, that source is modern femininity. Am I saying that right? Modern feminism. I keep saying that wrong. Modern feminism
because you want it to be
trying to put, it's trying to push an agenda that somehow femininity is weakness. And anyone that knows, anyone that's paying attention will tell you that femininity is strength. I mean, the femininity will launch ships. I mean, femininity, will send a guy off to war. I mean, femininity will bring peace to any kind of storm. And so, I mean, femininity is the true strength. But this world in our Western culture wants women to think that somehow they got to be boss babes and they got to be more men than the men around them or the men that left them or the men that wasn't there. They got to be the men that the world is missing. No, you don't. You don't have to be that. I mean, it's one of those, it's not that way anymore, especially when you have a real man showing up. But if you are, if you're one of those, men just have a problem with me because I'm powerful. I don't know if they have a problem. I don't know if they can't handle you as much as they're not interested in it.
They don't want to.
They don't want to. Like, I got dudes. So if I want a masculine woman, I go to the golf course. I go to, wherever. I go around my guy friends. I'll do those kind of things. But, the whole idea that men can't handle being in a relationship with a powerful woman, well, what kind of powerful are you? You need to answer that question.
Well, and I mean, to your point, marketing and Hollywood and social media stuff is pushing both sexes into the wrong polarity. So when you're a quote unquote powerful woman in a masculine sphere or in a masculine energy, you're going to repel masculine men. And then they're trying to push, and you were just saying, we're being taught that femininity is weakness, but then they're pushing femininity on men. So all we see around is where are all the good men, where are the strong men, where are the alpha men, where are the, the gentlemen. And then all we hear is be more feminine, be more in your emotions. That's not my job. My job as a man is to be in my masculine, to be a provider and protector. And then as a powerful woman, your job would normally be in your feminine, be a nurturer and a caretaker and the one that holds the house together. But if we're both being pushed into opposite polarities, then how are we even able to do our jobs? And we're not. We're seeing that a lot of the quote unquote powerful women, the boss babes in this masculine energy, are ending up alone with cats because they can't find a man who wants to stick around in that energy. But they also aren't attracted to the men who would be a balance to them energetically, because there are men that are more feminine. They have been pushed in their femininity, but they're not attractive to you ladies, especially if you're a baller lady that got your own business and making your money, stuff like that. There's that natural hypergamy where you're like, I want a man who's at least equal or higher than me. Well, a man who's equal or higher than you is not going to want to come home to a masculine woman. And that's why we're doing these episodes. This is definitely a for men talking to you ladies episode or from men, because I want you to understand that this quote unquote powerful woman that you're being sold isn't the powerful woman that we're looking for. We're looking for that powerful goddess, feminine, like grandma energy, the nurturing, the caretaking, the one that holds everything together, the one that we go off to war for. You want a man to be there for you. You want a man to be that protector, that provider, then you've got to be the opposite energy. You got to be that feminine goddess that he wants to serve and protect. But that's not what we're seeing. It's not what we're seeing, and now we're being sold.
Yeah, the same way you talked a little bit ago about if guy comes home and he's met with masculine energy and, it ends up basically being a sword fight. At the same time, ladies can relate to, and that's why most women don't want that beta male, that nice guy, is because when he comes home or when she comes home or is at home or whatever, and he walks in and there's two feelings, two feminines, two whatever, stuff just doesn't happen. Stuff doesn't get done. There's no structure. There's no space. There's no, there's no direction. There's no all those kinds of things. It's just all about feelings, right? That's why, same-sex female, i.e. lesbian marriages, are the worst divorce rates. And again, it's the same reason why women don't like that kind of guy, generally speaking. I've never come across a woman that said, man, I just want a nice, soft, sweet, nice guy. I can just find one of those. No, where are the real men? Well, the real men are repelled by you, because when they come around you, you got masculinity repelling on you like some off, because you smell like a dude. You smell like a dude. I'm not talking about
you act like one too.
I'm not talking about the 12 squirts of perfume you put on, but I'm talking about that energy that you exude. And so, consequently, a lot of guys are just tapping out, just saying either no thank you, or a lot of guys are going overseas to find women, because that's where femininity is more readily available. A lot of guys maybe going to different places, different sources to find femininity. A lot of guys are looking for that femininity, not looking for power. I mean, I don't know a single guy that has ever said to me, or that I've heard a conversation of, man, I'm looking for a nice, strong, ball-busting, really just a really gruff, bossy, I just want give me a mean one. Give me a growling, come home and, now I know some men who are married to a woman like that, but, that's a whole nother Oprah. But I don't know a guy that really finds that overly attractive, and or at least, any masculine man that does that. And so, when you're in those scenarios, and there's nothing wrong with you having a business, there's nothing wrong with you running a family, a household, having a house, a car, doing your thing and all that kind of stuff. But you got to be willing to put all that down when you're the presence of a real man, if you want to experience and being able to bask in the gift that is femininity, because that's where you really want to be. That's where you're comfortable, and you don't want to have to make every decision. You want somebody to say, hey, here's where we're going tonight. We're going to dinner here, or here's A or B. Which one do you want? You want that kind of, you want to be able to just do nothing, as opposed to all day, every day having to do everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that's being sold to ladies nowadays is, powerful means masculine. It means CEO and six figures and owning your own business and doing all those things. But is that what you really want? I mean, what's your definition as a woman of powerful? Because if your definition of a woman sounds like a man, if it sounds masculine, that's the wrong definition of powerful. It probably goes against your nature, goes against who you really are, and goes against the things that you actually want to achieve and attain. If you want a man to come in and provide for you, I mean, yeah, I know back in the day, the quote unquote patriarchy, didn't give the ladies all the rights and things like that, but it wasn't all bad. There was a lot of ladies who embraced and loved being the nurturing female, the mother in the home, who made the home, who took care of the kids. And now we see a lot of ladies who are struggling with doing both, struggling with being the mother and the father, the breadwinner and the nurturer, the one who's in charge of everything. And then when you get stuck in that masculine energy, you get stuck in doing all those things, you don't know how to relax and allow a man to lead, allow a man to be masculine. And we hear that so much. Well, I will when he does. Or I'm looking for a man, but I just don't know how to allow him to lead. I don't know how to allow him to be masculine, because I'm so used to being both sides and being masculine. Well, that's the issue that we're talking about. What is your definition of powerful, and is it good for you or bad for you? Because you can have several different kinds of power, light side and the dark side. Go Star Wars with it. Each is powerful, but which one is resonant with you? Which one would be the best for you, as far as which power do you want to obtain and utilize? And if we would stop going against nature and God and everything else, we would know that ladies are much more powerful in their feminine. Men are much more powerful in their masculine. But when we're getting pushed to embody the opposite energies, then we don't have the polarity we need for the sexual attraction, for the relationships to work, for our just being together to work naturally. So we have all this friction. When you are a woman in your masculine energy around masculine men, there's friction. Now, if you are in your feminine energy around masculine men, those men will naturally want to provide for you and caretake for you and make sure you're safe and protect you and all those different things. But when you're in your masculine, then you're just another dude. You're a dude in a dress.
Yeah. Women have the innate ability to bring peace and beauty to any environment, to any situation. in which they put effort into doing so. I mean, there's the gift of doing that. It's really hard for a man to be mad at a woman if she brings in femininity, if she brings in softness, if he's mad at her, upset with her about something or whatever. It's really hard for a guy to stay mad when she goes low. And when I say go low, I'm talking about with the aggression, with the the friction, with all those kinds of things. I'm talking about going soft with with the energy, with whatever the dynamic is between you two. It's nothing like a woman buttering up to a man. He'll do almost anything, like for real. He really will. If you a man he's an instrument. If you play him right, you can have pretty much anything you want, and your life can be a whole lot easier. But to those that are out there trying to do it all, you're not happy. You don't want that, and you're silently miserable. And honestly, single parent households, with absentee dads are not doing well in our society. And I've heard some people go so far as to basically say, women, y'all are failing in raising kids and raising households and doing it all, doing the work and the home and the mother and the father and the discipline and the whatever and all these other kind of things. Like, society suffers when there's not a man present. And so you can say, what, I'm not happy in this relationship, in this marriage. I want to leave, and I'll take the kids and I'll raise the kids, and you give me that check, and you can have them, every once a week or whatever it is. And, but I want them. I want to keep my kids away and talk bad about them, all that kind of stuff. But when that masculinity is not around, the kids absolutely suffer big time.
Yeah, I mean, raising children was not supposed to be a one-person job. It wasn't even supposed to be a two-person job. It was supposed to be an entire family's job, an entire village job. It takes a village to raise a child. You ain't a village,
right?
But what time it is?
Let's take a break.
Let's
take a break, man. Since we were long last time, let's take this break here. Mad Men and Masculinity, KLDC. We'll be right back. Boom.
That was not my smoothest segue.
Was it?
It was not.
Oh.
It was not.
Yeah, you pretty much sucked that.
I sucked that one. That was
terrible, man.
Terrible.
Man, you need to go back to radio school.
Yep.
You do, man.
They have radio school?
I'm sure they do.
I have to take that.
Canada, don't they got radio school?
I'm going to take the online course. What about like the whole speaking and?
Yeah, don't they got there's not some school of broadcasting or something like that.
There's.
Yeah.
All right, so they're not being promoted by Tanner, so I'll go there.
Yeah, don't go to the media school according to Tanner. I don't know. Blame Tanner.
Well, it's like bartending school. I went straight from Air Force to bartending, and then I saw bartending college. I'm like, why? You learn so much better doing than. Yeah. So that's how we're learning. So excuse us for our behind the scenes tomfoolery because we're still learning.
Excuse Jason's terribleness in his segue because he didn't go to school of broadcasting.
I didn't write a segue. I tripped over one.
So forgive him for that. We're back.
Yes, we are.
We're back.
This is the Mad Men of Masculinity.
KLDC.
12:20 a.m.
And we're on the interwebs everywhere. Hey, we're in the Mile High City. If you ever roll through Denver, holler at your boys, man. Especially if in the summertime, let's go hit golf balls.
Yes.
Man, you get a weekend. We're probably, especially based on this last summer, you pick a weekend, we're probably out somewhere playing 9 somewhere, at least 9.
We're trying.
So, you roll through it, holler at your boys. Y'all see us out there. We post pictures when we do. Y'all see us out there. So holler at us, man. Don't be a scrub.
Yeah, little good looking little ivory and chocolate out there.
You know what I'm saying?
You want something.
I mean, we might have to go chase a golf ball or 12, but that's why they sell them in a box.
Yes. That's why they come in multiple packs.
Exactly.
That's why I buy the bucket.
That's why, that's why I buy orange golf balls.
Which does not always work. Yeah. Sometimes
in theory, in my mind, they work better. They help me see, help me see them. I don't know. When the leaves start falling, you got orange leaves. That's true. That's true. The fall, the fall is when it's kind of tough.
Start getting you some, glow in the darks.
I don't know, man. But what color is? What's a good golf ball color?
The yellow one? You don't like yellow?
No, I don't like yellow.
The red one, those bright yellow red ones, those Callaway ones, those are pretty.
Yeah, you say Callaway, that's too expensive, man. I'm using too many golf balls.
That's why you buy the refab bucket.
What about Vice? Are those good?
Yeah, those are right.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't really matter what golf balls we have. We don't.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about our swing.
That's true.
But anyway, I digress.
Somehow I always have 2 in my pocket.
Yes.
Somehow,
just in case,
because you never know. I might have to use the foot wedge.
Yeah, because that's understanding yourself. Yeah. That's being powerful in your own right. Because I need extra golf balls. Because you know what, I might not hit them all straight.
That's being powerful, man. Speaking of powerful,
powerful. So ladies, we're talking to you about being a powerful woman. But what is your definition of powerful?
Yeah,
is it masculine powerful? Or
it probably is. I mean, it probably is. Like if you're using that word, if somebody is using that phrase, if using that term. They probably mean boss babe masculine. And I don't care what you look like. I mean, you can be beautiful, gorgeous, supermodel. Boss babe masculine ain't keeping a dude. I mean, she just ain't unless you GPS and you married to Will Smith. That's a whole nother.
We already did that episode, so let's digress and move on.
That's a whole moving on. Yeah. But I'm saying, but that kind of stuff, like I said, it don't matter what you look like. A lot of women think that, man, if I just get enough needles in my forehead, my forehead will look like a windshield of a car. It'll be nice and smooth, and I'll get all the men I want. If I can get this implant and this nip and this tuck and this injection, everything's gonna be great.
Yeah, that's one of the things why we're doing this episode, because you're being sold a bill of goods, and we did we keep talking about this. Men are simple.
Yeah,
we're pretty simple. We want peace, we want nurturing, we want femininity. And when you're a quote unquote powerful boss babe, we don't get those things. What we get is criticism, a lot of judgment, a lot of what have you done for me lately? There's not a lot of teamsmanship, not a lot of sportsmanship. We don't feel like we're on the team. We feel like we're interviewing and competing and constantly having to try to one up each other, because when you're coming from that masculine viewpoint of that's being sold nowadays, you wonder, and it's very unhealthy. It takes you out of your natural femininity, which is unhealthy for you. It makes you less attractive to the masculine, to the men. So you're less likely to have a man. So then you put your kids in danger, because we did the episode talking about how much more danger your children are in if you're in a single mother household, because like we just said it before the break, raising a child is not a one-person job. It's not a two-person job. It's a family job. It's a village job. Like we need more help, not less help. But part of this divide and conquer agenda that I see going on all throughout the world is separating men and women, separating families, separating communities, putting us all on the offensive and the defensive against each other, thinking that it's the other side's fault, and if they would be different, I would be happy. Well, guess what? That's not how it works. Yeah. You need to make yourself happy, which means you might need to, ladies, redefine powerful for you in a more happy, healthy way for you, instead of buying into social media and what those that are trying to sell you stuff are selling you.
And some of this is offensive to you ladies. Some of this is offensive. I can hear them rolling their eyes and smacking their teeth, and I won't hit like on this. I'm gonna show them I'm not gonna hit like.
I'm sorry, I had to unsubscribe.
I can, and it's offensive because you've been sold a bill of goods. You really have in this Western culture. You've been sold that your power comes through production, and your power comes through winning and all these other kind of things, and it doesn't. I mean, I hesitate to say, and this is definitely going to be offensive. Maybe even I'll be lucky enough to get canceled, or somebody try to cancel me. But that the feminine power is the ability to create a safe, peaceful space from the inside out. In other words, that feminine power, can you create a peaceful home? Now, conversely, I challenge men that I know in terms of our masculinity, the strength in our masculinity is, can you provide to some degree a safe and peaceful house? Can you provide structure, direction, decision? Can you provide safety? Can you provide security? Can you provide all those things? Okay, so that's cool. And I'm pretty okay with challenging men that I know to let us, because I'm not there yet either. Let's us pursue that endeavor. But I would hesitate to say, ladies, what if you pursued the endeavor to create peace and to create safe space and soft and beautiful spaces? What if you endeavor to create a home wherever you go, where the place is nicer because you're there? It's more comfortable. It's more beautiful because you're there from the inside out, not from the aesthetics. And a lot of that starts with you in just your own being, not from the aesthetics of the outside in, but making it beautiful and peaceful from the inside out. That is what a man is looking for, and that is the strength of your femininity.
Yeah, the example you gave earlier of Mima and the old matriarch who was the grandmother and who ran the entire family through nurturing and caretaking, which meant in some ways she surrendered to the masculine to provide. She needed somebody to provide that food in that home so that she could be the nurturer and the caretaker. But that's not what we're seeing nowadays. What we're being sold is to go against our natural nature, our natural energy, whether you're a man or a woman, and go towards the opposite. And then, ladies, you're wondering why you're tired and unhappy, and just because you're out of your natural energy, you're out of your natural frequency, going after this masculine powerfulness, being sold this bill of goods that you have to put your career first and your kids last. And then you get to a certain age and realize, I mean, there's so many ladies hitting the wall nowadays. It's sad because they're selling their bodies online to make money. They can't attract a man because men care about those things. And then they're wondering why, oh, well, I can get a cat and a dog. I can't find no man. Well, you've been sold this bill of goods that powerful means masculine. It means ball busting. It means being, the CEO and the entrepreneur and all those things, which is fine. If that's what you want to do, I mean, we got both sides of the equation and you can decide which one works for you best. But naturally, you're probably more feminine, and your power must probably lie more in the feminine nature, more in your femininity, more in your goddess nature. And that's not what we're seeing. And men would really like to see that. I know I would like to see a lot more ladies who are powerful in their femininity and their goddess nature, because those are ones I want to serve. Those are ones I want to protect. Those are ones I want to provide structure for and provide for, so that because I know she's going to nurture me and give me that peace and those things that I need to be the most healthy man I can be. But we're just being pushed in the opposite directions away from our natural beingness, and then wondering why we're lonely and depressed and addicted to all the substances and the social media and all the things that soothe us and distract us from what's actually going on, which is this divide and conquer narrative. And so, ladies, when you see be a powerful woman and your first thought is, I need to be a boss babe and a ball buster and I don't need no man, that might not be the right direction you want to look at as far as powerful energy. Powerful energy for a woman really is that goddess nature, that femininity. I mean, you create children. Every person came through a woman, but there also was a man involved. And we had to play our roles, but we're being pushed away from our natural roles and wondering why society is getting so off kilter and getting so out of whack. It's because we're being pushed away from who we naturally are.
I've never heard a woman really celebrate having to do more. If I can just have one more thing to do, that'd be great. I've never heard that. I've never heard any woman anywhere say, man, I would love one more thing to do. And when I think back to my mom, if anything broke in the house, she never had to fix it. She wasn't my great grandfather. I never met him. He passed away before I was even born, and I never knew him. So there wasn't even necessarily a lot of men around in the family. But if anything broke, she never had to fix it. She was retired, I think, by the time I came around, and if she needed anything, she had it. She had it because she was taken care of, but she didn't have one more thing to do. The things that she did was out of her heart, and it was to create a whole and healthy family as she could. I had a ton of cousins and whatever, and she was there for everybody, not because she had to, but because she wanted to, because that's what she was called to in her role, to be a powerful woman in that way. And so, I just think a lot of times today, ladies end up doing a lot because the space that they're creating in their life is not feminine space, it's masculine space in terms of that cloud that you walk around with. And that's what you end up being. You end up being somebody that's doing a whole lot as opposed to being a whole lot. And, we're all human beings, but, I think a woman in her essence and nature really radiates when she just gets to be. Men, we radiate in our nature when we get to do, when we invent stuff, when we go create stuff, when we go make stuff happen and all that other kind of junk. That's when we get a sense of accomplishment.
And when we have somebody to do that for, which is usually that goddess figure, that mother figure in our lives. And that's what we're asking for. It's like, I'm so confused. When did being a mother become so low class? Whereas that is the most important job of any woman. And, our job as men is to be the father, and that's our most important job. But now it's demonized.
Now young women are like, now young women are being pushed to, go get careers, go get rich, go get famous, go make money, go do all these other kind of things. Next thing you know, you're in your 30s and 40s, and then then biology says, you're done, you time out, you're out of the game, go sit on the bench. And so, there's not even opportunity to be a mom for any period of time, because you're being told you need to go out and get yours before you even do anything else. That's your highest priority, is to go get yours, go be a boss, go get, go do, and your life ends up do.
Yep. Talking about being sold a bill of goods. Speaking of selling bill of goods, I think it's time to take another break.
You want to break it up?
Yeah, let's break it up. Right. Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC. We'll be right back.
Well, you was pretty close on that one.
It's close.
Yeah.
Good. I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer. I'm learning how to count with both feet and my fingers.
Word.
I gotta take my shoes off to count up to 21.
I went to public school, so I need marbles to count with. Boom. We're back.
Yes, we are.
Mad Men of Masculinity.
We haven't been canceled yet.
Shoot.
Man,
y'all ain't working hard enough.
We're working on it.
We trying to offend some of y'all so y'all can like make a campaign or petition or something.
And you know why?
There's a website you can create a petition to cancel some people.
Because all publicity is good publicity.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. No way. I wouldn't say that.
No. What were you saying?
I don't know.
That's what I thought.
I'm saying powerful.
There we go.
I love powerful women.
Yeah. And there's that energy, and I mean there's even like a smell. I mean, just makes me want to be a man and do manly things.
Yeah. When you're a powerful woman in your femininity, you compel any decent man to want to care for you and want to protect you and want to provide for you. I mean, you just, I mean, it is just like a smell. It's like an aroma. It's like when when you drive down the street near where I live, there's a guy that was Jim's Ribs or something like that.
Jim's Ribs.
He'd be out there with the barbecue pit, just on the side of the road making ribs every day, and you can't help but to drive down that street, down Parker Road, and smell them Jim's Ribs when you go. I mean, you just can't help it because it just emanates. It's like it's in the air. And when you have that as a woman, when you have the powerful femininity, man, that just people just know. Like when you're around, it's one of them things that, well, what is femininity? What is feminine? You know when you know. It's just like being around the rib joint. You know when you know because you're around it. You can smell it because it's good. And so that's it. I mean, but when you are like that as a woman, I mean, man, the right man just now, and the other half of that is you being able to recognize a good man as opposed to them dysfunctional ones you keep going after, and then you wonder why your life got full of drama. It ain't because every man is bad. It's because every man that you pick is bad. But whatever. Whole nother Oprah. Talking about that femininity. When you radiate that, man, it's irresistible. It just is. Men want to open doors for you and want to.
You think of powerful, you think of masculine, and then you can't find no man to do these things for you. And it's interesting. I actually saw some lady who is obviously the epitome. She was just living in the whole powerful boss babe, I don't need a man thing. And then she gets a guy to take her out on a date. And the guy was doing the masculine things. He's doing the gentlemanly things. Like he opened the door for her. He opened the car door for her. He went and bought. And she was thinking he was a simp. She was thinking he was a sucker because he was actually doing the things that a masculine man will do for a feminine woman. But she couldn't recognize it because she's so in her masculine. And that's why we're saying, if you're not in the feminine polarity, if you're in the masculine polarity and a masculine man comes up, it's going to clash, it's going to repel, it's not going to work. So maybe, ladies, I'm sorry, it's maybe a harsh truth, but if you're not finding the masculine man, if you're not getting the man you want, maybe you're not putting out the right energy. Because I guarantee you, when you're putting out that feminine energy, those feminine pheromones, that masculine man is going to be attracted to you like bees to honey. You won't be able to beat him off with a stick because he's going to be following you around and being aggressive and doing all those things you want him to do. But if you're in your masculine, you may not even be able to recognize them. And then a lot of times when you are in your masculine, you see a good dude and he's either boring or lame or a sucker or whatever, because you don't recognize that stability may not be all exciting. It may not be like the toxic bad boys that you keep chasing after and all, having all these babies with and all these bad relationships with, and then thinking that all men are that way. No, not all men are that way. Stable men may not look as attractive and exciting to you, especially when you're not in your natural feminine. You don't recognize what he brings to the table, what structure he's providing for you to create in. You're just thinking like a dude. So many ladies nowadays think like dudes. And then you wonder why guys are like, I'm done. I got friends. I don't need another dude. Sorry.
The reason why whoever you are listening to this is having so much issues with it is out of fear. It's quite honestly, it's the fear of, but what if I do that and I get hurt? What if I go back to being soft and feminine? What will I have to give up? Maybe I'll have to give up just my pursuing and chasing. Maybe I'll have to give up all of the stuff that social media says. Maybe I'll have to, give up this persona that I have it all together, because I don't. And I have to be vulnerable. And being vulnerable means maybe I'll get hurt. And these are the things that go through your mind in terms of why this concept is so hard, and that I need to put down, I need to put down my masculinity and pick up my femininity. Yes. And yes, it is a dangerous place. But so is being a masculine man who is willing to jump in front of a bullet for you.
Yep.
That these things go hand in hand. And so, the culture doesn't like this. Your cognitive dissonance doesn't like this, because it challenges everything that the messages that you're being told all day, every day, consciously and subconsciously. And there's some level of fear that if I do this, maybe I'll get hurt. Well, then you also, I would say to that whole notion, maybe you need to get better at recognizing the opposite of the healthy femininity when the healthy masculinity shows up while you're in your femininity.
Yeah, and you talk about vulnerability. That same fear that you're feeling about getting out of your masculine and not protecting yourself and not being guarded and allowing and surrendering to your femininity so that you can allow in that masculine man, is the same fear every man feels nowadays approaching any woman. He's like, it's vulnerable. I've got to be vulnerable. I've got to get into my emotions. I got to get in my feelings. And then I've got to hope that this lady's not going to take everything, not going to break my heart, not going to run, through my credit cards, not going to do all these things that we're seeing nowadays, not going to emasculate me. Like a lot of guys are getting emasculated nowadays by these quote unquote powerful boss babes, because they're not willing to surrender to their femininity. And so now you have a lot of guys who are not willing to surrender to the women, not willing to surrender to family, not willing to be emotional and vulnerable, because there's no win in it for them. And so we all have to realize that we have a role to play. We have our own dangers, our own fears, and we need to surrender to those and be willing to go in that direction if we want to be happy and fulfilled. But so many of us are not happy and fulfilled because we're not fulfilling our roles. We're not even in the right energy. We're not even in the right polarity. Men are being told to be feminine. Women are being told to be masculine. And then we're not even in our proper polarity to fulfill our roles. And then our powers are squandered. We're weaker. We're not, I see a lot of ladies who seem strong, but like you said, it comes out of fear because they're in their masculine. So at some level, they're going, this doesn't feel right. I feel unprotected. I feel like I need to be very aggressive and controlling and domineering because it comes out of fear. Now, if you could get back into your feminine and be in more of that goddess and nature and surrender into that feminine nature, you're not got to worry about being protected and provided for, because a man is going to do that for you because you're allowing him to be in his masculine and fulfill his roles. So a lot of the lack of fulfillment, a lot of the depression, a lot of things that are going on nowadays is because we're being pushed out of our natural roles and being told that's good. It's not.
Yeah, and when you don't operate out, when you're afraid to be and to do and to live, let's say in vulnerable ways, for example, you miss out on so many opportunities to have a fulfilling complement, a fulfilling, I'm going to say protector, a safe place to put that vulnerability. And that's just human nature. That's anybody. I mean, somebody that's not, that sees vulnerability as weakness is somebody that is going to be lonely and isolated and not have a fulfilled life at all. And so when you operate out of that, even even from the perspective of your femininity and getting into your femininity, then you're missing out on the beauty that is having a man come alongside you, not even alongside of you, but a man that's willing to step out in front of you and lead you in all the good ways. You know, like you said, if you're not even in that space, yeah, immediately in my mind, I picture being on a highway. And if you're not even in the right lane, you can't even go the way you want to go, the journey that you want to take. If you ain't in the correct lane, if you're not in the right lane, you can't exit off when it's time to. And in some highways, if you ain't in the left lane, then you can't get off on that road either. And so you got to make sure you're in the right lane, you're in the right space, you're in the right place, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and every other kind of way to receive that thing that you want. And so don't say that you want a masculine man, but you refuse to live out of your femininity as a woman.
You gave me so many mental pictures of just ladies backing up and doing U-turns on the freeway. Oh, there's my exit. And we just cut across 4 lanes. We're seeing that.
That's a needle in the forehead.
I'm telling you right there.
It is. Let me. Oh, here's a quick trick. Oh, I can just cut straight across. No,
look, that's where I'm supposed to be. Nope. See, that's that short-sightedness, not planning, living out of your natural beingness is you're not looking forward. You're on your phone. You're looking right here. You're looking at social media and you're not even seeing what's ahead of you and what's in front of you. And then you're living out of the wrong energy. And nowadays it's going for both men and women. But the difference is men are accepting the fact that they're not either attractive to the opposite sex, they're not wanted, and they're not being accepted. So they're just going their own way. Whereas we're the opposite. What we're seeing is ladies are embodying this masculine energy, so making them unattractive and unwanted and unaccepted by men. But then we hear it's all men's fault. Men aren't accepting me for who I am, and they need to accept me for the big boss babe that I am. Well, you're in your masculine energy. No masculine man wants to have, and I mean, maybe if they're homosexual, they'll want to have a masculine dude, but even in those relationships, one of them is more feminine than the other, and they're still in that polarity. So if you're in a masculine role as a woman and you want a masculine man, you're going to have to figure out how to get back into your feminine and learn how to surrender and open that space for him to create structure and be the man. And so often we just see women who just can't get out of that and won't, like you said, surrender into the feminine out of fear. And so the man has nothing to work with. And then she goes, why am I alone? Why won't he accept me? Why won't he commit to me? He doesn't see a role for himself in that relationship because you're not allowing him to be the man. And if you're in your feminine nature and surrendering to him, as in the whole leading thing has a bad connotation because ladies nowadays are like, I need to be the boss, babe. I need to lead. Leading is not a controlling thing. He's out front. Like, you know, the reason men walk on the street side of the road is so that if somebody splashes, they splash him, not you. He's protecting you. If he's walking in front of you, he's leading so that he sees danger first. So it's all a give and take. It's a protective thing. But when you see it from this masculinized, viewpoint of quote unquote being powerful woman, you're not allowing him to fulfill his role. So he won't. And then you can't find a guy to do that because he doesn't want to be in a masculine woman space. Sorry. And
we're not talking about the, we're not talking about the exception. We're talking about the rule. What I mean by that is 51 out of 100. 51 out of 100 men are good men. I firmly believe that. The same way I believe that 51 out of 100 women are at least are good women. And so we're not talking about the exception of the jerks and the abusers and all those other kind of things, because there's just as many bad examples on one side as there is the other. As a matter of fact, off the top of my head, I can think of, and maybe it's just my algorithms, but I'm seeing a lot more public bad examples of bad women behavior. I mean, women acting badly in our culture. And so we're not talking about, all those exceptions, but we are talking about the fact that, I just hit me that we've all, if you've gone through, I went to public school, but even in public school, I learned about human reproduction. And in human reproduction, it happens most naturally when the woman is soft and the man is strong and erect. And so when we lean towards and when we bend towards and when we gravitate and amplify our natural strengths, our natural tendencies, our natural roles, then we can create life. We can create the lives that we all want to live. But when we try to do it the opposite, it doesn't work. It doesn't work if the man is soft, and it doesn't work if the woman is hard.
That's what we're trying to tell you. Your definition of powerful that you're being sold is not working. Just look out in the world today. It's not working. And if you want your life to change, you got to change things in your life. Change your mindset, change your actions. And ladies, be feminine, be gorgeous, and you will find the man you want. If you got to be a boss babe, you got to be in your masculine. Sorry, not sorry. It's not probably going to work unless you're willing to accept a beta male who'll be happy to fulfill that role for you. But until next time, I think we, as the masculine madmen of masculinity, whatever we are today, will be out.